welcome to the Music is Therapy podcast. My name is Chris and my guest tonight is Ella, my good friend. She has brought along a couple of albums with her. She's brought along a CD of Paramore and she's brought along a vinyl of Fleetwood Mac, which we're going to talk about a wee bit later on. Me and Ella have known each other for a couple of years now, and every time that we've met, the conversation has always went to music, whether it be gigs, music that we've liked and all that. So I just thought it would be good to get Ella on tonight and she can tell us a wee bit more about her music likes, dislikes and in-betweens as well. So thanks very much for coming on, Ella.
Hi,
it's
thanks
nice
for
to
having
see
me.
you, no bother. So do you want to just tell us a wee bit about how your musical journey started?
Yeah, so I think my love for music started with my mum. So my mum, a big fan of music, big fan of the 80s music, like she loves it. So I grew up hearing a lot of 80s songs, and to be honest, when people like come up to me and they're like, oh, have you heard of this band? I'm kind of like, no, I never heard of them. if they play a song or they sing a wee bit of it, I know it. And I think that's where my love of music started. And my dad likes the classic rock and stuff, so whenever I was in the car with him I was hearing the classic rock. But my mum, she had all these CDs and stuff and she would listen to these albums and they were always brilliant and I loved them genuinely. But I think I didn't really come into my own kind of music until I was a wee bit older. So I think when I was like kind of 12, and I'm 21 now, I think I'm probably
the youngest girl in the door,
the youngest one, so I'm talking as if it was like way back, but it's like not even 10 years ago. But I started getting, when I came into like first year and stuff like that, and I think I was just trying to like find myself a wee bit, and I think I really found myself through music. And I was an emo kid, so I liked the emo, the sort of like rock sad music. It like had all these feelings, all this heavy stuff, and it was like I listened to it and I was like, oh my gosh, these people can see into my brain, like they can
it just clicked for you.
It was really like I was listening to music and I was like, oh, all these people have experienced something and they've turned it into something so beautiful. Like turning,
you could just connect it.
Listening to music, listening to people's lyrics and stuff, like I was so envious of how they could kind of put feelings into words and even put it into music.
That's amazing, that.
Yeah, it made me just love it, fall in love with music.
Good. I think for me, definitely, I think my influences from my dad's music was massive for me. And I think, as you said, like when you get a wee bit older, when I went to high school, that's when I really tapped into different kind of music, because you're meeting up with, you kind of mature a wee bit as well, but you're meeting other people from other schools and stuff like that, and you're picking up stuff off of them as well. So
I was also rebelling a wee bit. I was like kind of finding my own music and I was like blasting it up in my room, and my mum's listening to these feel good 80s tunes and I'm like, I want to listen to something a wee bit darker, a wee bit edgier, or I thought it was edgier at the time. I think now looking back you're like, oh, a wee bit cringe. But that's just what like growing up.
Music changes through the years for you, doesn't it? Because some music I listened to years ago, I'm like, geez, I can feel in bands that I listen to today, I'll probably say I would have probably never thought I would have listened to them like the now, do you know what I mean? So my music taste personally has changed. So what about like when you went to school and stuff like that, did you feel maybe music influenced like the way you dressed and stuff like that as well, would you say?
Yeah, like I liked a lot of band t-shirts. I thought like when I knew a band and like I was really into 21 Pilots. Don't know if you've heard of them, but they were like brilliant live. So I went to see them. I think I was maybe 14, 15, something like that. They were brilliant, but I was really into them, and then I thought nobody else was really into them, so I was like, well, I'll be cool. I'll wear the t-shirt. I'll wear the t-shirt, and then it was like if I was in and I saw other people wearing the t-shirts, I was like, they're cool people and all. They're like me, and I just thought I think music was how I really expressed myself and stuff. And I think it did influence my fashion a wee bit. Like when I was younger, it was a lot kind of like darker, kind of edgier, like borderline goth. But I don't think my mum wouldn't have let me be a goth, so I was just like kind of skating on the edge, on the edge of it. But I think it really helped me just like find out who I was.
Be yourself.
And my music taste, it changed differently on like how I was feeling and how like when I was like dressing, when I was trying out new things, like I would try out new artists and stuff. Like I love all music, lover of all music really. So anything that I listen to, I can resonate
You can
with.
relate to it. Aye.
Uh-huh.
The lyrics are. It's just basic stuff being put down and put, as you say, put into music, and it just emotions. It's just amazing how artists can do that. Aye.
The lyrics. I think having a good tune is amazing, but I'm a big fan of like people who really are good with lyrics. Like Hosier, I think is what he writes some of the best songs.
Hosier,
he writes about like love and stuff in such a beautiful way. And I really like Sam Fender. I think Sam Fender,
quite new, actually,
I love his new album, People Watching. It's absolutely class, but he writes about stuff like that affects him,
everyday
and he writes about stuff that affects everybody.
I know he writes a lot about his family and stuff like that.
He writes a lot about like kind of growing up and things like that, and I really related. Like I listened to this, he's got a popular song called 17 Going Under.
That's right.
And I remember listening to that at 17 and I was like, oh my god.
That's just me.
It's me. And but I think people's abilities to put like kind of emotions and how they're feeling into lyrics, it's just amazing. And that's what really draws me in. I like a good dance tune and all.
That's it. There's different songs, different emotions, different feelings. Do you think that would you put certain songs, certain bands on for the kind of mood you had, or would you?
Yeah, I think especially when I was younger, because I've struggled a lot with my mental health, and I think, see, when I was like in the darkest sort of places, I was listening to really darker music, and I think that helped me a wee bit, because it was like, because I felt like when I was younger, I felt like dead lonely. I was like, oh, no one understands me. Like that kind of typical teenage thing. I think everybody's had that thought of like, no one gets.
No one.
No one knows how I'm feeling. I'm the only one that's ever felt this bad, this sad. And I was listening to things, and it kind of helped me process it a wee bit, because I didn't really know how to put it into words. I felt like I was dealing with some just really big emotions, like from a young age. And then listening to music, it was like, I don't need to.
That was your gateway.
I don't need to talk about my emotions, because these people put it into such better words than me.
That's amazing. I think just confusion when you're growing up, and for me, as the podcast says, music is therapy, because I could sit in the house and put the headphones in, put an album on, and just it's like a meditation, just listening to an album for a full hour, just switching off for the outside world. And as you say, the lyrics, it's just. Artists can just put your feelings down into a song, and that's you're just away with it. That's amazing. If you talk about live music there, what sort of live music do you go to?
Oh, anything and everything. Me and my mum are big fans of going to gigs, and I've went to some of the best concerts in my life with my mum. Like, I think the best concert I've ever been to in my life was Nile Rodgers. I've been to see Nile Rodgers twice, so he's done music for everybody. Like, honestly, because we were kind of talking about like the modern music and stuff. So Beyonce done like a country album, and he produced that album. Like, and I think he's in the background of like a lot of songs that you wouldn't even know. He worked with Diana Ross. He worked with David Bowie.
Dance songs, I think he does everything.
And he done Chic, Sister Sledge.
That's right.
Big fan of Sister Sledge. Love it. That's that kind of it's the music that I listen to the now. Like, because as I said, when my mental health was bad, I was listening to really dark, depressing music. Now I feel like I'm in a really good place, and I think like Sister Sledge accompanies that, because it would put you in a good mood. But going back to Nile Rodgers, me and my mum first saw him, I think it was last year, and we went to see him in a theatre in Edinburgh, and it was like a sit-down theatre, and actually coming in, because sometimes I go into the kind of theatre sit-down concerts, and I'm like, is this going to be good? Because especially like, I'm usually the youngest one there, honestly, for a lot of the concerts that I go to with my mum, that I do really enjoy. It isn't really a younger crowd, but so I was going in and everyone sat down, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is going to be good. Now Rodgers comes out and he's like, right, everybody up, and he got everyone up for the whole gig, and he kept it. But the next time we went to see him at the Barras, and that best concert of my life. Honestly, the energy was incredible. Like, it was so good, and I think just being there with my mum, really enjoying it. Like, I think that's me and my mum.
Your wee gig buddy.
We bonded for music. So
good.
It's lovely. It's lovely to experience that with her. But I've been to so many gigs. Like, I feel like we'd be here for hours if I talked to them. But I think that's my highlight with my mum. I think me personally, I loved seeing Hosier live.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see Sam Fender. I've been like Transmit. I like Transmit. I wouldn't
good
go
mix
now.
of, good mix of bands then.
I like the music. I don't really like the atmosphere.
Aye.
But a really good festival I went to is the Connect Festival.
Mm-hmm.
They held that in Edinburgh, and it's when 2022 and 2023, and then they were meant to do one last year, and then they ended up taking a break. But that was amazing because that really encompassed the music as therapy, because they done ice baths and stuff. So I stayed, I was camping, and it was a very different experience.
A different kind of festival.
It wasn't like I've heard I never went to Tea in the Park. I
I
never went to Tea in the Park, but I heard horror stories and that. Yeah,
aye.
but this was lovely. It was dead. It was really
more relaxed and
holistic.
stuff like that.
They had these small, because they had the music that was playing, and the music was great, but they also had these small tents where they were doing like sound journeys, meditation. They were doing yoga sessions in the morning, and I had done an ice bath and stuff. I managed to convince my friend to also jump in the ice bath and things. It was dead nice.
Ice bath, to see one of your favourite bands.
And it was lovely.
That's a unique experience in itself, isn't it?
And I think that is something that festivals and stuff should be doing, because you look at like Glastonbury and things, and it just seems so overwhelming.
I think Glastonbury, they try everything. They've got everything for comedians and all that.
Yeah.
So but I don't, as you were touching on the live music there, I don't know about you, but live music for me, see when I had that ticket for a live gig, the excitement and that just ran through me just before that gig was unbelievable. I was always the first person in the gig. Me and my mates were always the ones sitting at the front of the stage. We were always there first and the last ones to leave. And every gig I went to, I always thought that was the best gig that had ever happened. When I walked out, it was just that, the rush I used to get for every gig, I loved it. It's brilliant.
Oh, definitely. I think every time I go to a gig, I'm like, oh, it's a new
that
experience.
Was the best.
And you're like, this one was amazing. Especially so many venues that I've been to is amazing. Like, I love the Scottish venues, I think they're great. I've also been to Hyde Park, loved that. I was up in Aberdeen, me and my mum went to see the Pet Shop Boys. So good, they were so good. And I love as well the way artists kind of create experiences, and I think the Pet Shop Boys were brilliant for that, because they actually built like this whole, it was like they took you on a journey
like a
when they were doing the show. So it was like not just the music, but it's like the feeling you get. And I think I have a better appreciation for music, because sometimes I'll go to a concert with my mum and I've never even heard of them, and I don't really know them, and I'm like, this might not be good, and then I go and I hear it live and it's different from just listening to it. Like, when you hear it live, you're hearing the passion, you're hearing the excitement. Even if you're surrounded by people who also love it, you're like, you can feel it in the room, can't you? It's really just that sense of community and stuff, and you're like, I love this.
I think that, as you were saying, like the communities, like different gigs have got different vibes. Like, I think stadium gigs they're good, but there's nothing beats a small venue like maybe your King Tut's or your Barrowlands or stuff like that. You just feel the energy. Everybody's all close up, and it's
definitely.
That's
I think the bigger stadiums, like, they can be good, but I feel like especially concerts now, and I feel like an old woman when I say this, but I hate recording. And I was guilty of it. I used to record like almost everything, and then I realised that I never really watched them.
You're not in the moment.
And I'm not in the moment. And like now, I like to maybe get a photo, and then that's it.
Just
I
that memory you've been there, and then that's it.
And I wish everyone else would just do the same, because the thing is, even when you put your phone down, there's 50 phones in front of you that are recording it. And I do get why people do it. Like, they do want to just like
young ones do
it
to get it on their social medias.
It just feels like it's like, just live in the moment, hear it, watch it with your own eyes. There's nothing better. Well,
I think the new gig venues are saying no phones, no mobile phones allowed, that they actually take them off people at the entrance, which I definitely...
I'd happily give my phone away.
Aye. As you say, just be in the moment, enjoy it, and that's it. But you touched on like you've been to a lot of bands for back in the day, like your mum and that. Do you go to many like up to date bands?
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to anything. So I like I've talked about Sam Fender and stuff. Love it. Love like Catfish and the Bottlemen and stuff. They're great. And I also listen to see a lot of stuff that's like trended on TikTok on the radio and things. I listen to that. Like, I really like.
Catches you.
I really like Sabrina Carpenter's album and stuff. I love this girl going about Chapel Rowan. Love her stuff. but I'll just kind of listen to anything, and I like finding like kind of local bands as well, like and I think TikTok's a really good place for that, like because it pops up. The only thing TikTok knows about me, I don't really use it. The only thing they know about me is that I live in Scotland, so they just give me all the posts to do with Scotland, and so sometimes it's good because you get local bands and stuff, and like all my like kind of friends, people I know and things, some of my family and stuff, they're very like musically inclined. My cousin has a band, so I like going to like the kind of small gigs, and when my cousin plays, it's a couple more bands with that. It's
so
like,
you get to see other local bands as well. It's not just
ones, and it's good. And again, I just love a gig. I think it's a great night out. So I'll go, and then you get to hear new music and things, and hear some really talented people as well, because I think the local scene's like really good, and they're not popular yet.
But I think that's, I mean, social media can have its down points, but I think for things like local bands, I think social media is massive now, because all you need to do is stick a wee post up on TikTok, we're playing King Tut's, and then before you know it, it's got 1,000 likes, and then that's how people get talking about new bands and get them talking. But what would you say was your favourite genre of music? Where would you, because I know you've spoken a wee bit there about...
I'm like everything.
I don't want
to put it down to one, because I literally do love everything. But again, like I would say probably from my mum's days, like I just kind of love the 80s, and I think definitely like I feel like I'm just like a Nile Rodgers stan now, but it's like Nile Rodgers, anything he touches is good.
You just love it.
So I do like but I really like see disco music as well, like, and again that's like when I'm listening for my mood and when I'm putting my mood up and stuff, I love it. Right now though, I've been really listening, and where I work, like sometimes I'm putting on a playlist and stuff, and I think there's no better compliment than when someone says, "Well, you've got great music taste." And I've got a playlist that...
Can you send me that playlist?
And I've got a playlist that I made that was like really like 2000 and 2010, like kind of bangers, where it's the ones that were on like say Avicii and stuff like that, Pitbull and stuff, like music that I don't normally listen to, or who I'll always put them on my playlist. It's Outkast, like, you know, Hey Ya and stuff. Love that song, and I feel like it's one of those ones that everyone can kind of appreciate. So I think
everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Everybody appreciates it. So I like put it on the playlist, and then people are like, oh, that's a tune.
That's a banger.
There's no greater feeling than when someone goes, oh, that's a tune, who's put that on? And I'm like, that's me.
So would you say that was your go-to for listening to music? Would you listen to it like Spotify or stuff like that, or do you buy vinyl, do you buy CDs and stuff like that?
So I have a lot of vinyl, a lot that I nicked off my dad, a lot that my dad gave me.
That's what usually happens. So
my grandpa gave me a sound system, so it came with a radio, it came with a CD player, it came with a cassette player, and it came with a record player.
A big tower?
It's like a big tower thing, and to be honest, like, he gave me it because I love music, and I used to like use it all the time, mostly with CDs, because I did have a lot of CDs growing up, but I never really used the vinyl and stuff. No. And to be fair, I don't think I use the sound system that much anyways, because I like listening on my headphones, and my whole family has completely different music tastes. Like me and my sister kind of overlap a wee bit. Like, we went to see Catfish and the Bottlemen together. Like, she likes that kind of Catfish and the Bottlemen, Arctic Monkeys. That's kind of like her scene as well. And then me and my mum like the 80s music and stuff. But we're all playing different tunes, so being able to put the headphones on and
everybody
stuff,
can
like,
listen to something at the same time.
I'm not kind of disturbing people, so I don't really like Spotify is where I listen to my music. And I'm not
it's
really
easier.
And I'm not really an album person. Like, there's some albums that I love and I will listen through them and stuff, but see, if I'm just going about my day, I'll just stick on a playlist. I've got a playlist that has about, I might say like 1,000 songs. And I will just stick it, and I could listen to any song.
Just press the next button and it just plays different orders and stuff like that.
And it's good because, like, I could literally just like put it on shuffle, and there could be a song that I've not heard for days because there's so many songs to choose from. But I'm more a Spotify kind of person.
Spotify is amazing for stuff like that, but I definitely like the buying way nowadays is definitely different, because when I was maybe just left school or probably still in school, I could remember going down to FOP, don't know if you know FOP, stuff like that. No, it was a music show in a music store down in Glasgow, and you could get in there with a tenner and you could buy 5 CDs for a tenner. And I would just go in and go, right, I'm going to go in for maybe an Oasis CD, and then you'd see, oh, there's that one for £3, and there's that one for £3. So you'd be picking up all these CDs of bands you'd maybe heard of, but you didn't know much of.
Yeah.
And then you're going home and you're listening and you're like, oh, that's amazing. Then you'd maybe buy other stuff. But I think now to buy vinyl, I mean, as I said, you could buy an album for £3. You buy a decent vinyl now, you're maybe 35
I got that as a gift, and I think they're extortionate.
It's not as easy just to buy vinyl as it used to be to buy CDs, aye.
Yeah, even CDs are a wee bit more expensive.
Aye,
like,
nowadays.
I got most of my CDs out of MTV, like
HMV.
MTV, close, almost. Out of HMV, and that's like when me and my pals would go like to the shopping centres and stuff, we would always go into HMV because we thought we were cool when we get a CD and we thought it was cool. But even then, like at that time, like I had like an iPod and stuff, so I didn't need to. Like I kind of bought it, so I like had a physical copy, which I did quite like. But it was mostly like I was still listening.
I think when iPods came out, I think that was the death of CDs, because everybody was just downloading thousands of songs onto this, and you could just walk about and you had it all in this wee one device, and I think that was the demise of the CDs. I think.
And Spotify, like
Spotify,
it's really cheap. I've got a student membership, and it's like a monthly thing, and you have all the music in the world, like just on your phone available. And
I think that's where the albums get lost as well, because as I said, I remember one Christmas I asked my parents for it was a CD multi-changer, and I could put maybe 5 or 6 CDs in that, just lying back in my bed with the buttons and just playing an album and just skip through. But now it's you're maybe only hearing the greatest songs of the artist, do you know what I mean? Nobody's really deep diving into like the back catalogue of them now, do you know what I mean?
And I feel like a lot of artists now, like albums are kind of like sometimes shorter and stuff like that, but I think even like see with TikTok, like TikTok can make a sound of the song, a
3-4 seconds
of the song go viral. So you're seeing it with like, and I'm seeing it, I'm even getting fed up of like seeing it, and it's like these artists that are like kind of younger and stuff, but they're making like, instead of making a really good song, they're making a probably average song with a really good clip, and then they're overplaying that.
That's
and then
right.
people are like, oh, this song's brilliant, and you actually
and the rest
listen
of
to
the
the whole
rubbish.
thing. And I think that's
it's
probably
got a catchy chorus.
it's probably like a marketing team or something,
definitely.
being like, see if you get that hook, you're gonna get them. But I feel like it's no making music for like
I like the music of it.
It's not making music for feeling, for like actual like love of the music. Now it's like, how can I get this clip to go viral?
Older artists, they're like your Bob Dylans and stuff like that. They're like poets. They're writing proper songs, and as you say, nowadays it's just they just need that wee short burst that catches everybody's eyes and put it on social media.
Songs are getting shorter. Like, see now you wouldn't get like a 10-minute song. Like
Stairway to Heaven for like that goes on for forever. But that's amazing stuff. That, do you know what I mean? That's proper music. Would you say that? Would you say you're the favourite artist, or is there too many?
Too many, because I think it really changes, and I go back. I go back to different ones, and then there's ones that I like. It's really hard, because I think at a time it was Paramore, at another time it was Fleetwood Mac, and it was Stevie Nicks. Like, especially when I went to see her, like I went to see her live, and it was absolutely brilliant. At a time it was Harry Styles. Like, it is really
changes all the time.
And I think as well, like I get a lot of like artists and stuff, because I like the music is community kind of thing. So see, a lot of my pals, a lot of the people I know, a lot of people who maybe just come into my life briefly, I like asking people like, what kind of songs do you listen to? And I like getting songs, because there was a guy I met who was from Texas, and he introduced me to an artist called Leon Bridges, and it's got this song called Texas Sun, and I mind just playing it, and every time it's on my playlist, it's on the big one, and every time it comes up and I hear it, I think of that guy that I met, and it's just really good. So I like taking songs, and I mean, my manager once played a song, and I was like, that's really good, what is that? And then I've got it on my playlist, so now when I hear it, I think of that. So I feel like I just take songs from everywhere, and I like taking like wee bits and pieces of people's tastes and stuff. It makes me feel closer to people, I think.
That's true. I'll love somebody recommending an artist to me.
Yeah.
Because then I'll go, this is definitely one I need to listen to. That. And as you say, it sticks with you. It's memories, it remembers you things and all that.
And I take it serious. Like I take it like if somebody's like, you need to listen to this, I'm like, okay, I've got to. Especially if I'm close to them, because I feel like you can get closer to people through music. And
Talk
the kind
points,
of music
and then you can start going to gigs together. Go to see. Is your music taste ever took you to learning any instruments or anything like that? Do you play anything or?
I play the ukulele. So I've played it a few times. I've played it on work and stuff. I like it. The reason I play ukulele is because I couldn't teach myself guitar. I was really bad at guitar. I also done piano lessons for a bit. I done piano lessons for about a year and loved my piano teacher. She was great. I did not practice it. And I was doing
no dedication.
No, I was so bad. So I would come in and I used to do a piano lesson every week, and it would be like an hour before my piano lesson was about to start, and I'd be sat at my piano and I'd be like, oh, I haven't practiced this and I'm pure trying to teach myself. But I'd done it for about a year, and then I was like, I actually don't think I can do this.
It's not happening.
But I like I used to play like the chords and stuff. It was like the actual like reading music, like sight reading and stuff, and keeping time. Like I was never great at it, but I really liked the idea of making music and playing music and stuff. I actually have a YouTube channel.
Alright.
It's old. I think the first cover I posted was actually me in school, and it was a cover of Adele, Chasing Pavements. And cool. I was maybe about 13, 14 years old, and I posted it, and it's like just this wee, like it was recorded on somebody's phone, not great audio and stuff. And I used to write my own songs, and I really loved it. Like I wrote a lot of songs about my mental health, so I loved doing it, and I really loved recording it. And I kind of fell away from that. Like my mental health kind of got worse, and I started doubting myself, and I started being like, oh, this is bad. And I kind of walked away from it. Like I didn't delete the channel. I'm so glad I didn't delete it, because now I kind of look back on it and I was like,
it's part of your journey, isn't it?
And I was like, you were brave, you were putting yourself out there and stuff. And it was like, it started off, it was just me recording, and then I kind of got a mic, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I was pure googling like how to like mix audio. I put like harmonies in one song, and it sounds terrible, but it was me trying. I was
some people, they don't like it.
Yeah. And I mind one person contacted me, and they were like, I've done a remix of your song, and I was like,
that's cool.
That's so cool. And then I like listened to it, and the pure like, it sounded so different, and it was sounding really good, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But I didn't post that. I kept that private, but I just thought it was so cool, because I had no idea who this person was. This person had just came across my YouTube.
With your music,
yeah, and I thought it was so cool. But in saying that, I actually I would love to get back into doing music.
It's always
stuff.
something you've got there. It's
yeah,
never,
because it is something. It's always something you can go back to. But I think the last time I posted something was probably about 4 years ago, so maybe like 17, 16. But I thought, like, looking back, I'm like, I'm actually quite proud that I did that, like at a young age, because I feel like did you keep your songs that you wrote? Did you keep them? Yeah, I've got the songs. I still write stuff like that.
It's such a good way to get things doing.
I put like a lot of stuff like on my notes app on my phone, like things just come to me. So like I've got like stuff that I write, but like I don't know, I like try and get back into it and write it, but I feel like I'm forcing it a wee bit, because I'm like, oh, I'd love to write another song.
Come natural.
Yeah.
I think people, I've heard Noel Gallagher saying like some of his best songs he's wrote in like 3 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It just, these things just come to you.
So I'm
can't
waiting
be forced.
for it.
You're just waiting for that moment to come. That's amazing. That's good. Well, I think we'll maybe just go on to your what album we talk about first. You want to talk about Paramore first, and you can tell us a wee bit about
so
how this came into your life.
So Paramore, this album is called After Laughter. It's one of their albums, and I don't know if you know Paramore, but like one of their first albums was called Riot, and it was dead emo, dead punk, like it was dead angry, and I used to listen to that all the time when I was like kind of like, I'm in the mood to to wreck something. Like I want them to destroy something like it, and it was so good and I loved it. This one is like, it's a completely different vibe. Like it's a lot more upbeat, but the actual lyrics and stuff were really depressing. But in a way it was like, so they've got one song that's called like Fake Happy, and it is such an upbeat song. It's one you could dance to and stuff, but you were sitting reading the lyrics, you'd be like, oh my god, I'm about to start, I'm about to start green. Like,
different emotions.
But I think it was like, I remember when I was listening to it, I was kind of like that, where it was like, I felt really sad, but I think I was putting on like this sort of, I'm happy, I'm doing better, like. So I really, really enjoyed the album, but there's one song out the album that's called 26. Beautiful song, and it is really like, so the whole album's like this dancey kind of pop tune. This one song is really stripped back, it's like acoustic, and it's a really sad song. Like it's one that like I listen to and I'm like, oh, this does get me in my feelings a wee bit, but there's one line in it that I love and I live by, and it says hold on to hope, if you've got it, don't let it go for nobody. And I'm like, that's true. And I actually ended up getting that tattooed on me. So it says, so I've got hold on to hope on my leg there. And I remember I went into the tattoo artist and I was like, I want this, and it was originally meant to be like a hand grabbing onto a bird, and he was like, yeah, I can do that, or I can do this, and then it was like a kind of skeleton hand, like almost about to like close in on like this bird, and I remember just looking at it, I was like, I don't know why, but it just encompassed this song, and I was like, oh, this is so good. But I love it, and I still love that song to this day. And I love the album. I don't really listen to the lyrics as much, I just kind of dance along to the tunes.
But that's amazing, because it's definitely not something that I would listen to, but I know the song Hard Times, and that's why we ask guests to bring these in, because I'll get him down, I'll listen to a wee bit of Paramore, and I'll say, and I'll listen to that song, and I'll listen for that lyric now, do you know what I mean? So that's what the podcast is all about. But Hard Times, that's probably the only one I've heard, but it's definitely one I will listen to in the future.
It's a great album, honestly. I love it, and I think just as well, because I feel like Paramore kind of changed their tunes at the same time I was kind of changing and growing into myself and stuff. So it was really good, and then they've got another album, can't mind the name of it, but their newest one, and that's again a really different sound, and I love it when artists
change
do that.
every album. That's good. That's what you want, isn't it? Good. And I don't think this album needs any introduction, because I think everybody in the planet knows this one. Rumours by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Every one of the band members is just famous in their own way, aren't they? They're just. And you've been to see Stevie Nicks, haven't you?
I've been to see Stevie Nicks twice. So I went to see her in Glasgow, went to see her in London, and then when she was in London, she brought Harry Styles along as well. So it's really good, because again, it's like that. Because I was a big fan of Harry Styles and that, so me and my mum were pure
best of both worlds then.
And it's like the generations come together and that, but love Fleetwood Mac. So good.
And how does this? Where did this come from? Is that for your parents as well? The influence for them?
Yeah, so my mum's a big Fleetwood Mac fan. My cousin bought me this album because they knew I was like a really big Fleetwood Mac fan. I think my dad likes them and all. Like, I think it's one of those ones.
I don't think many people don't like Fleetwood Mac, do they?
Everybody's heard of them and stuff. But I think as well as you were kind of talking about fashion in there, like I think Stevie Nicks' fashion style was amazing. It was so good.
I would have loved to have been in Stevie Nicks' shoes for a couple of years of her life. She's had a pretty life, hasn't she?
Yeah, And even when she speaks, like she was speaking kind of like, she would talk in between the concerts and stuff, and just hearing about her life was really good.
I think that makes a concert as well. If you just go to a concert and they just batter through the songs, which is amazing, but I think if they stop and tell you wee bits in between it, makes it a wee bit more.
I think she would have talked for days. I think there's probably someone in the room like, let's
play the next song. I love this album too as well. I love Fleetwood Mac, and I really don't think there's a bad song on that album. It's one of the ones you could just put on and play right through.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think as well, like, so speaking about like kind of songs becoming trending on like TikTok and stuff, Silver Springs kind of went, it's just not on not on this album, but that went really famous on TikTok because it's the live performance, and the live performance of them singing it is, I mean, it's electric. It's so good. I can't remember what the year was that they sung it, but they were like singing it, and it's when all this relationship turmoil is happening and stuff, so they're singing it to each other. But this was all over TikTok. It was all over TikTok, and everybody's like, "Oh, I love this," and stuff. And I think it's good for kind of younger people to get in with this kind of music, because I think especially with, I feel like music's become more, it's commercial, it's a business. It's like things, when songs like that kind of come up and people listen to music and they're like, well, this is what music is supposed to be. And I think if we just have enough of that,
that's the back
hopefully the industry, hopefully the industry kind of realises that people like music when it's alive, when it's when it means something. It's
got emotion to it. Aye. Amazing stuff. Oh, that's good. But listen, I think that's us come to the end of the podcast anyway, and I'm just going to thank you very much for coming on, and it's been brilliant. Honestly, thanks very much. Cheers.